Describe the situation when you acted on your own initiative.
When I used to work at Soul Out, which is a shoe shop, customers were always coming in all the time and the managers weren't always in, so if they had a problem with a pair of shoes that needed bringing back, then it was up to me to decide whether it would be a customer policy to actually take them back. So it was on my own initiative that I had to deal with the customers and allow to either take the shoes back or deal with it and say that they weren't allowed.
What you've done is to go for a work situation, I hate that word, which is good, because quite a lot of people will say something like that when I was organising a party for a few family members, there was an issue as to whether we had a clown or a magician, and I had to make a decision, so I used my own initiative and put the magician. And it's so common. If you can get a legal problem in there, so it's quite easy for you because you work in a law firm. But if you don't work in a law firm, you've then got to think of work, and it's good that you've got that shoe shop one in your head. If you could actually describe a particular time though, rather than just saying generally when the manager wasn't there. So if you could say there was a Saturday when I was acting as assistant manager, a customer came into the shop, company policy, it's the manager who makes the decision, but this particular customer was called in the scene, I therefore had to make an immediate decision using my own initiative that they could bring the shoes back and I give them cash because it was affecting sales on that particular day. Or something along those lines. So it's very specific. Okay.
How do you react to failure?
Initially, I'm disappointed in myself, but I tend to look at what I could gain from the situation. So, for example, if I didn't get one particular job, I'd try and look at what the advantages of another situation would be and how that would, in the long run, work better for me.
So can you tell us about a time when you didn't get a particular job?
When I was working in Shanghai in a law firm, I initially wanted to work for one of the Western firms. There was an Australian firm that I wanted to work for, and I got put in the much more Chinese-orientated firm. So I realised quickly that this actually could be to my advantage because I could learn much more to bring back with me and have a perspective on what Chinese people do, even just their culture, to talk about when I got home and have a much more enriched experience of China, whereas I could have gone to Australia and worked in an Australian law firm.
Okay, that was a good answer, slightly too long,
Yeah.
but just in terms of that type of question, they are very, 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 very tough questions to answer because they're almost digging you a hole. So they get the hole and they're giving you a spade and saying, here, I'll dig it a bit deeper because they're starting with a negative. Yeah, if we went to your workplace and spoke to one of your colleagues and asked them what your 3 weaknesses were, what do you think they'd say?
That I'm easily distracted.
Right, that's one.
That I play the joker.
Right.
And that I get annoyed quite easily.
And you give that answer in an interview?
No, I'm giving it to you personally.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, you've given us the right answers, which was you were joking and things, and as soon as you said that, you'd immediately get a big cross on your page. It's the same as the one you asked Effie. It's a negative before you start. So the way to answer it is not to answer it. Firstly, how do you cope with failure? Is to try and think of a time when really, like you did, when you said about you joined the Chinese firm, and you sensed it was a sense of failure at the time, but in fact it turned out to be positive because you learned more about the Chinese culture. So you've identified a time with the failure side of things, but you've given a specific example that's been an actual positive. The 3 weaknesses question is positively the most evil question you can get asked, I think, apart from a couple of others, like, can you tell me about the time when you last lost your temper, which is a difficult one. But the 3 weaknesses, you've got to think of positives. Now, if you go onto the web, there's people written, you can't give positives because it's too cliche driven. So they want you to give weaknesses. But to be honest, that doesn't cut for me, because if you give a weakness, the person can immediately come back. So if you said that thing about, you said that you sometimes play the joker, you sometimes don't pay attention, I would say, can you tell me what the 3 main attributes are of a commercial lawyer, or the high street lawyer? You give me the 3, and then I'd say, do you think that paying attention should be one of those? And it's immediately there. There's no way around it, because you've just admitted that you don't pay attention. So you've got to give positives, and the way you give positives, the 2 big ones are sometimes you work too hard, and sometimes you commit too much to a specific project, which are positives, but dressed up as weaknesses. And you can't think of the 3rd, is quite a good one. Anything to avoid answering it, because as soon as you answer it, you're giving them stuff. So it's better not to answer it.